Okay, we're live. Hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. We're back here with the post-match, post-match reaction. Stockport County 3, Stevenage 0. And I have to give a shout out to someone on the preview who, and I'll find the comment because I do always try and read the comments. Someone said on the preview, they gave a score prediction. It's a regular commenter. I should have got this prepared a bit more sooner. But County Fan 696 said, I think we're due to stuff them 3-0 County. That's what he said in the preview. And that's exactly how the game panned out as well. A 3-0 win for Stockport County. Job done. Clean sheet, 3 points. And as I say, it does help us in that league table as well. Just going to have a quick look at the league table now because I was looking at it at one point in the game and we were fourth. The disappointing thing is I think as it stands, Charlton managed to win late on. So I think we are still in fifth, but nonetheless, we were nearly fourth at points in the game, which says about how close fourth it is for us. It is still very much in sight. Just looking at here, they managed to get a 2-1 win over Mansfield. Therese Campbell in the 74th minute, the second goal of the game for Charlton, which did get them their win and has put them into fourth place, or keeps them in fourth place by just a point. But our goals difference is stronger than theirs as well. Some other results as well that have gone in our favour. Reading lost 3-0 to Blackpool. Does that mean Blackpool are now got an outside chance of getting into the playoffs? They're currently 3 points off the playoffs, but Bolton have a game in hand. So could Steve Bruce be finding his way back into the playoffs potentially? That kind of conversation over the next couple of weeks. We'll have to wait and see. Leyton Orient dropped points. They lost 2-1 to Burton. A couple of days after we beat Burton 2-1, Leyton Orient have lost. So I think a couple of teams around us, Wrexham, I know they're not really in the conversation with us now because they're further up, but they drew 2-2 with Cambridge, whilst Wickham drew 0-0 with Shrewsbury. So you look at it here, we're 4 points off Wickham now. I know they've got a game in hand as well, but potentially third spot as well. They could be getting dragged into that place as well. Anyway, want to talk about the game today. Want to talk about Stockport County. I said we were due a big win. We got a big win. Like I say, regularly commenting on the channel, predicted 3-0 in the preview comments, and he was absolutely spot on with that. And let's face it, it's been a very enjoyable game. Very enjoyable game. Stuart Ryan said Febs was man of the match for me. He's also said great performance as well. Completely agree. But I think the pleasing thing about today is that we're not. I think there's quite a handful of players which you could argue could have got man of the match. I thought we were very, very good. So I'll just switch this off behind me. But yeah, I thought it was a very good performance. First half was solid. It was okay. Nothing too much to shout about, I wouldn't say. We got we went in. It was a goal up. Fevre with the goal, a good goal as well. Just lovely, curled into the far corner. Like I say, he had a great game. I'm really happy he started the match, to be honest. I think I was saying that he's started, or he's been in the team a couple of times recently, but hasn't been quite able to show what he's got in his locker. That's what he's got in his locker, and I'm glad he got that goal. Another one as well, Jack Diamond. I was pleased to see him get a goal today as well. I thought he had a good performance. He often looks like a player which looks a little bit hit and miss. Looks like he's on the cusp of creating something, but never quite manages to find that sort of end product. He found that tonight, and as I say, I was really happy for him. Cal Wootton, of course, did score another goal. It should be 2 goals in his last 2, but it has actually officially gone down as an own goal. So that second goal early in the second half doesn't count as Cal Wootton goal, unfortunately. But I was really pleased for him. I thought he played quite well as well. Once again, although he did miss a really, really good opportunity to make it 3-0. I think it would have been with the header, Fevre with the cross. Not long after the second goal, correct me if I'm wrong, and he just couldn't seem to get the header right, which was very frustrating because I think most people would have expected him to put it away there, but it wasn't to be. Stuart saying, best performance for a while. We look confident. Bates stayed central, and that made the midfield strong. When he drops back, his influence is minimal. Diamond deserved the goal. I do agree. I think it was probably one of our best performances, or definitely our best performance actually in a long time. We did look more confident. We also looked a lot more comfortable in terms of spreading the ball around the pitch. Um, and you know what I think that was to do with width. We played with width tonight. I've been saying, and anyone who watches the previews will know that I've been crying out for a 4-2-3-1 for a very long time. And the reason for that, I mean, it wasn't quite a 4-2-3-1 today. It was kind of similar to what we've seen, a 4-2-2. But those two attacking midfielders, they were more like wingers. It was more of a 4-4-2, I felt, today. And we had natural width in the game. Fevre on the right, Diamond on the left, and we just looked a lot more comfortable. It looked a lot better. The setup, those two running at players on either flank. It always looked like we had an opportunity to create something. It always looked like we carried a threat when we moved forward with the ball, and that's through natural width. We lost that once Louis Barry left, so I'm very happy that we've seen a bit of that natural width back, and hopefully it's here to stay because it was a lot more enjoyable to watch. It was a lot more of a solid performance, and I think it comes down to that width, which was created by those two players. And when you have that attacking width, you even end up coming away from a game thinking Ibi Toure had a good game at fullback because he wasn't being asked to go forward too much because Diamond was doing that. So yeah, I was very happy with that. Nick Ten said comfortable win for County, which could have easily been 6 with a bit more luck. Fevre looked very lively and much better end product from Diamond. Yeah, I thought both of those. I think are the reason why we won the game as comfortably as we did. Obviously because they both scored 2 of the 3 goals, but I just felt they opened the game up. I just felt they gave us an option going forward. As I say, we always carried a threat going forward with the ball because those two, they can run at teams, they can cause problems, and we saw that tonight. What I don't want to see is us go and play Exeter on Saturday and go back to a 3 at the back and not play with it. Those two have to start again for me. In the same look, we could talk about matching the opposition, but forget the opposition. It's Exeter with the greatest respect. We should go and play like we did tonight, or as close as we can. Obviously, we got to adapt a little bit, but I still want to see those two start the game on either flank. Big credit to China for picking them, but big credit to those two for for putting in that level of performance. Because again, as well, it's so hard to put in a strong performance like that sometimes when you've not really played. Some players need to run themselves into form for having a couple of games. Diamond he's not started a lot of games and he's come in and performed like that. Same with Fevrier, so very, very pleasing. Like I say, I think first half was decent, fairly comfortable. And then obviously Fevrier gets that goal and it's a wonderful goal. It does look like the kind of goal I could see him scoring a couple more times, to be fair. He does look to do that. I think back to sort of Bolton away a couple of weeks ago, he had a shot similar to that, which was parried away by our keeper. But that's what he wants to do. He wants to cut in on that left foot and try and create an opportunity to score like that. And I thought his overall performance was great. As I say, the crossing as well, some of the crosses that he put in, I thought were really good. And just generally a very pleasing performance. As I say, I thought Lewis Bate was really good, particularly with the Diamond goal, the third goal, that pass. It looks like the pass is off, really. I didn't think he was going to find that pass because it's almost gone away from him. He's sort of dribbling towards the left and he finds that pass a little bit back. He sort of almost has to go back on himself a little bit to find Diamond, making that run into the box. And as I say, it was brilliant bit of vision, brilliant bit of passing play from Bate, and as I say, picked out Diamond, and Diamond had to keep his composure there as well, because it's not as easy as it looks. He had to be really patient in front of goal to find that opening to score, and as I say, in the end, it was worth its weight in gold. So very pleased, as I say. Generally, probably have to agree. Probably is one of the best performances in a long time. I can't think of many better than that. I mean, is that one of the best? Certainly got to be the strongest performance of 2025. Maybe Reading away might have been. I wasn't there, but we won that one 4-1. So maybe some people might say that one, but it's certainly up there. And certainly got to be one of the biggest and strongest performances that we've had since Louis Barry moved on as well. I'll just come back to the comments as well. So Stuart's saying credit to their number 10. He really tried hard, but their defense looked slow and unable to defend. yeah, I just think we exposed their defence with having those two quick players on each, on either side. I think that really was the difference. The difference tonight. Um, Absolutely, saying Lewis is a joy to watch when he's driving the lads forward. Everyone put in a good performance today. Yeah, I mean, as it was sort of getting closer to the full time, and I was thinking about what I was going to have to say. I was going to think, is there anyone who I don't think has come away from this? I mean, I was thinking to myself, he played well, this player played well. In the end, I thought that the whole team just played well. I don't think there's any individual that particularly stood out, maybe other than Fevrier, who was just up there because of how good he played. But I thought everyone put in a really solid performance. Connolly as well. I think he was playing in the left centre back role, which fair play to him, because I think anyone who's going to have to play in that role was always going to have it difficult. Having said that, we need to address the fact that Stevenage, I don't think they had a shot on target in the whole 90 minutes. So that's a combination, I think, of us defending well, but I think, to be fair, that's probably more about how poor the opposition were tonight. And I'm not trying to take credit away, I'm not trying to be negative, but I think we're not going to see that in most games in the last couple of games of the season. I think it is pretty much to do with just how poor they were. And to be fair, I always felt the first goal was going to be the most important. They don't have a lot to play for now in the season, Stevenage. So I always felt that a first goal, especially if it came early and in the first half, which it did, they don't really have anything to play for. So it's kind of hard to find that, to sort of search within and find that fight almost to get yourself back in the game when there's not really a lot to fight for. And this is what happens with a lot of teams when you get to the end of the season. You're not going to really get relegated. You're not really going to get in the playoffs. So everyone then starts to just look out for themselves. And it's like, are you going to go into certain tackles? You might pull out of tackles because you don't want to get injured, because maybe you've got a move in the summer that you're trying to make happen and all that kind of stuff. So I think that will come into it in the next couple of games. And I think that we took full advantage of that. So yeah, definitely got to be one of the best performances in a long time. I've already read that comment out. Stuart said Corey didn't have much to do, but he showed he can compete for the number one spot on merit. I agree with that. I think he was enjoying himself a little bit tonight as well. Came out with his goal a few times, and yeah, I think he's just embracing being a number one goalkeeper in some ways. And I think the reason why he's probably played as well as he has done recently is because when he first came in, there were a lot of fans still clamouring basically for Hinchcliffe to go in goal. That's not even a talking point now because he's injured. So I think that Corey Adai isn't worried about losing his position really, because he knows he's got that, and I think he's playing better without that pressure than maybe what he was before. Maybe when he was feeling the pressure of, if I mess up here, I'm going to lose my spot. He knows it's his spot, and maybe through having that comfort, he's able to go and express himself a little bit more. So it'd be interesting to see if he keeps up this level of performance, and if he does, how does that change when Hinchcliffe comes back fit and back into the equation? Are we then going to see Adai dip in a performance? Hopefully not. Look, if he gets us over the line at Wembley, let's say we go all the way, let's say we get in the playoffs, we go all the way to Wembley and we get over the line there, then I think he's proven himself to be a number one. I think the problem then will be stepping up to the quality of being a championship goalkeeper. But I think if that's the case, I think we'd probably have to dip into the market for a new one anyway, because I think there'd be question marks over both the goalkeepers in the championship. But yeah, as I say, it was really pleasing. Like I say, I think we all felt we were due a big win, and it was a big win. And I think it takes us perfectly now into the game against Exeter away on Saturday. As I say, not really playing for too much, other than maybe personal or individual pride. These players now for Exeter. But let's face it, whilst I've made the case about how a lot of the teams are playing now, or quite a few of the teams are playing now, don't really have a lot to play for. There's always that motivation to go and upset the apple cart, and basically they know that we're fighting for something, and there's always that thing of they might just turn up to try and stop us, because that might be something that they feel they can do. So yeah, as I say, it's also disappointing as well that we didn't quite manage to get that fourth spot tonight. But I tell you what, 71 points. We're a point off fourth. We're 4 points off third. dare I say it, we're 7 points off second. I think it has gone. I think it has gone. But you just, as long as we keep doing our job, keep picking up points, the results elsewhere, we can't really think too much about that. But the results elsewhere did go in our favour a little bit tonight. But as I say, look, we keep winning our games. Let's just keep trying to look in front of us, win games, look up the table. Obviously, if we want to push up, we're going to have to hope on teams around us dropping results like we nearly saw with Charlton tonight. But let's just say we're 7 points off second spot with 6 games to go. If we keep getting points on the board, and I think, to be fair, if I'm being completely honest, the remaining 6 matches, the majority of those I'd expect 3 points from. I've said it before, we need to go on a run. We can't afford to slip up now. It is a cup final. I hate the cliche, but it's true. It is a cup final, and we've got another big cup final on Saturday now. Really happy as well that we managed to use the bench a little bit as well. We saw a handful of players come on. We saw a handful of players that came in January come on. We saw Moxon, Hamilton come on. We also saw Nick Powell come on. We saw Anderson come on. I think I've named all the players that came on there, actually. But yeah, I mean, I was pleased to see Powell come on. I was pleased to see Hamilton come on. He seemed to go in alongside Wootton, which I thought was interesting. Again, not too much opportunity to do too much. I think we'd done most of our damage by the time he came on. I think it was a case of just holding on to the lead, more or less. But put it this way, I didn't see that much in those minutes that he played to sort of say he shouldn't play more games of football. So hopefully we can, get a couple of goals in the next game and then hopefully see a bit more of him as well. But a must for me is those two started on either side in Fevrier and Diamond. It's hard to say. I know people will say Fevrier man the match, and I do think it myself. But to be fair, I'm almost thinking as well, Diamond could deserve a mention. I could see how someone could say Diamond as well, because he had a couple of chances. He had 2 or 3 chances down that left before the goal, and it just didn't seem to quite click for him. And then obviously got that goal, and I think there's no one on the pitch that deserved the goal more than him at that point in time. Maybe Button, after having that goal taken away from him, officially speaking. But I thought even Watton did well today, and I've not been his biggest fan. I have been critical of him, but I tell you what, he played all right on Saturday for 45 minutes. He got a goal on Saturday as well. He's had an involvement today. The whole team's looking a lot better, certainly tonight anyway. And on the back of the result and performance not the result, but on the back of the performance on Saturday, this was amazing to have. So yeah, I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. I thought we'd just see another substandard performance, maybe a 2-1 win. But this is giving me real confidence that we might just be clicking at the right time. Alan Hamford has said Wickham next 5 of 6 matches are all against playoff contenders, except Stevenage. County could finish third. They could finish third. They could even finish second. We're 7 points off it, I think. And Wrexham have dropped points today. Is there an opportunity there for a fairy tale ending, which will be a familiar line amongst Wrexham fans, but not the fairy tale or Hollywood story they're thinking of. It's actually us nicking their sort of Hollywood fairy tale story by getting second off them late on. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'd love it if it did. But like I say, if we just keep winning games, the rest will take care of itself. Fantastic game. Yeah, I agree with that. And Stuart said, if we were on 42 or 43 games, then yes, goodbye second place. But right now, it is not impossible, but don't expect it. And I think that is a very sensible comment, and that's pretty much the angle I come at it from. If we're a couple more games in and we were that far away, fair enough, second place, it's gone. But at this point in time, as long as we keep picking up results, as long as we keep doing our job, the rest will take care of itself, like I say. And it's not impossible. Just don't expect it. If you don't expect it, you might have a nice surprise. So yeah, I just think second would be obviously unbelievable. I'd not having to go all through the chaos of the playoffs. But then there is a school of thought as well that if you're worried about them to go through the playoffs, maybe you're not as confident that you could compete in the championship anyway. So yeah, I mean, look, ideal situation would be County somehow manage to finish second, Wrexham have to go through the playoffs, and then Wrexham lose at Wembley. That would be great. Maybe through James McLean being pushed into the back and then handballing it late on. 93rd minute at Wembley. James McLean gets pushed in the back and ends up accidentally handballing it, and then I don't know, a Charlton player or whoever they're playing goes to the ref, berates him, and then gets the decision overturned, and they get a penalty against Wrexham. They miss it initially, and then they score on the rebound, and then that's how Wrexham lose the League One playoff. That would be a dream scenario. That really would be a Hollywood script. So they could have that for the documentary. But yeah, I think second probably gone. We said that once we lost to Wrexham, but you never know. As I say, 42, 43 games, it would be gone, but there's still time. This is what Stuart's saying as well. Second half last season, Woods was giving away silly free kicks. This season, he's stopped doing that, and his game has improved. He's more spatially aware. I noticed that he's not done as much of the sort of he's not got involved in the shirt grabs as much this season, but he has started shirt grabbed. And I think the problem is he was actually probably a little bit more effective in some ways last season because he was kind of giving it back a little bit. He's almost been a bit more standoffish this season. And maybe that's what's annoyed there. Maybe I just want him to give it back a little bit more when it's going against him. But I think he's done better. As for spatially aware, maybe not spatially aware with where the ball was for that cross from Fevrier, but we'll let it go because he did. He actually technically didn't score, but he did put the ball in the back of the net, and he did also put the ball in the back of the net once the ref had blown the whistle for something. So, hats off to him if I had one on. Absolutely said Wrexham has an easy run. Perhaps third is possible. Well, if you're saying third is possible, you're not dreaming enough. Second is still possible. And Stuart's saying you ain't bitter, Rob. LOL. No chance. No chance I'm a bitter. I would just like that ending. It would be great. And County Fan 69 has said, I said 3-0. We were due that against them. You did, and I shouted you out at the beginning. If you missed it, you did say 3-0. And when I saw that yesterday, I thought, I'm not sure we've got 3 goals in us and a clean sheet. And that's the other thing, clean sheet, no shots on target. Like I say, I'm not sure if we can praise the defence too much for that though. In a weird way, I think if I'm being honest, I think it's more to do with how poor Stevenage were. If we had a front line sort of go at us a bit more, I think maybe they could have found deficiencies in our setup as well, because I was concerned about maybe a bit of a lack of pace at the back. But yeah. We managed to get away with that. Wonder what the price was. Wonder what the price was that. Sorry, I don't know what you mean by that. You might have to explain that. My head's gone. I'm pretty tired. But yeah, maybe I'm being slow. Who knows? But yeah, as I say, very pleasing win. And like I say, I want to just say as well to people who are watching it live, don't forget to like it as well, and do subscribe if you are new. It always helps keeping the channel going. Unfortunately, I won't be at Exeter away on Saturday. I've got a family event that I'm going to be at, so I won't be doing Exeter away. No vlog for that one, but I will still be doing the match preview for it at some point at the end of this week. And then we're back for the Rotherham game, I want to say, at Edgeley Park next Saturday. We're back for that one, vlog for that one. In fact, all of them now after Exeter, other than Wickham, which of course I don't think tickets are on sale yet, so we'll wait and see what happens on that one. But you never know, we might be wrapped up by that point. 3-0 win at the bookies odd-wise. Oh, I don't know, I'm not a betting man. Not a betting man. I always try and stay away from that because I think I would end up losing a lot of money. Basically based on saying things like we would win 2-1 when we'd actually win 3-0, and then saying that we beat Burton 4-0 when we only beat them 2-1. So a lot of time my score predictions are very off. So if I was a betting man, I'd be a losing man. Simon Harrison said, well-deserved goal for Diamond, absolutely. I was really pleased for him when he scored. Just felt that he's had a bit of a difficult time at County this season. Hasn't quite clicked for him, but I tell you what, that performance tonight, it guarantees him a start on Saturday, bar barring any injuries, hopefully, fingers crossed. And I think the same for February. And as long as they keep performing, they should get the opportunity from Challoner. And if they do get the opportunity, I'm sure they'll get a run of games. And there's a lot at stake. And I think everyone wants to be involved in these sort of last couple of games. So hopefully we can see a bit more from both of those players. I thought we played. County Fan 69 said I thought we played some very creative football tonight. Diamond was great. Fevs looked great, if not fully fit. I thought both of them, as I say, both won the game. For us, I think they were both the game changers. Bringing them in, I was a bit unsure about how they were going to play. I was a bit unsure about what the setup of the team was going to be. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a three at the back or four at the back. But I thought it did look more of a four at the back once it actually got going, and they did look to both be playing on either side, which is what I was hoping for. And I think, as I say, that was the difference from County tonight. Stuart saying only the bookie drives the Rolls Royce mugs game. I'm sure there's some very creative people who know loopholes of how to cheat the system, but I'm not one of those. And if you are going to bet safely, would be my advice. Best were Fevs, Jack, and Bate. Yeah, I mean, what's great about this is Lewis Bate has always been a solid performer all season. If it's ever a dull game, it's pretty much guaranteed he'll get the sponsors man the match just as the go-to option. The great thing is he's got probably too many bottles of champagne or whatever it is they give him this season. He's probably got too many bottles of them in his house, so he'll be as happy as anyone that someone else might actually get the man the match. So he's actually got a free house of bottles of champagne or whatever it is. February, I think, he just seems to look that a little bit quality wise, a little bit ahead of Jack Diamond. But as I say, both of them coming in summer, both had a difficult season, and both of them deserve the goals, and both of them deserve the start tonight. And as I say, both of them, I've written their names on the team sheet on Saturday for me. I think another thing as well is, like I say, defensively we weren't asked too many questions. I was glad to see Hills back in. He looked comfortable. Thought Norwood played well. Tanto gone under the radar as well because he made some good runs. And he was very important in the goal, which Wootton scored, obviously getting that pass across goal, but also the run in the first place. And I can't remember who played the pass now. Was it Hills? I feel like it was Brad Hills who passed that sort of long ball over to Tanto, and then he sort of puts it across goal for Wootton. I think it was Hills. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a really good ball. Whoever played that. County Fan 69 saying he sells his gin on eBay. Fair enough. Stuart said, put it this way, William Hill died in 1972. He was very rich then. Look at the chain now. There we go. Bates gin range. He's also Brad Hill's class again. Yeah, I mean he looks like a very solid player. And look, hands up, because I was very critical of him when we brought him in. I was like, sort of saying, is he going to play? Is he going to be the Reece Bennett of 24, 25 or whatever? Basically sit on the bench, or not even on the bench, and basically play no part. He came in straight away those first 2 or 3 games and very quickly has proven me wrong, and actually he's one of my favourite players now. I mean, I don't really have favourite players, but you feel safe when he's in the team, put it that way. And especially for someone of his age, what is he, 20, 21? Unbelievable. And he'll be some player for Norwich, there's no doubt about that. And if he wasn't rated before by many, he certainly will be now. And his price sort of gone up, God knows how much, based on these 3 or 4 months at County. And like I say, if we go up to Championship, he'll play a big part in that. So his value is just going to go, sky high. And unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to sign him up. But we'll have to wait and see. He did sign a new contract as he left on loan as well in January. So I'm sure he'll be very much part of the Norwich City setup next season. And good chance we'll probably end up going up against him should we end up playing in the same league, which will be a bit of a disappointing one. It'd be disappointing to go up against him because he's just such an aggressive player, isn't he? And I think maybe that got the better of him at Wrexham. But yeah, a player with he absolutely oozes class is what I was going to say about Brad Hills. And I think him and Ethan Pye together are a brilliant partnership. And it's a shame that you can't have both of those together. Then again, if you had both those together, that would probably Brad Hills alongside Ethan Pye as a centre back partnership that in 2-3 years' time, that's probably a mid-table Premier League centre-back partnership, to be fair, with the way they're, the current trajectory, the way it seems to be going. Hills, Horsfall, Pye, what a back three that would be. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think maybe it might just be the injury to Horsfall, but I think that Ethan Pye he's gone a level ahead of Horsfall this season in my mind. If you asked me at the beginning of the season who's our best centre back, I would have said Horsfall. If you ask me now who our best centre back is, without doubt, Ethan Pye. He's probably our best player. He's certainly our best centre back and best defender. Um, Dave Chalmers was even cracking a smile tonight. Yeah, but he had a hat on. He had a hat on, and I don't get it. What is it with having the hat on? I never wear a hat at any point in the year. Okay, if it's snowing, it's cold, it's just not the amount there. If it's snowing, it's cold, it's Christmas time, winter time, fair enough. Have your woolly hat on, but it's April the 1st, and he's got a hat on, so that for me, that can get in the bin. I'm not a fan of that, but yeah, he was cracking a smile, and rightly so. We were 3-0 up, so yeah, smiles all around. I think it was, even for Odin Bailey, probably, who hasn't been involved in the matchday squad. It feels like for a long time, ever since Bristol Rovers. Stuart Ryan saying, not wishing to be arrogant in any way, but a question occurs. Based on current squad, where would this team finish next season if we went up? Also, if we don't go up? Well, I mean, this is a question I've been asking myself. And it's actually, I've been thinking I could do a video on this, but it's so hard to predict. We all know what these leagues are like: Championship, League One, League Two. They're so hard to predict, and that's sort of a bit of a cop-out answer, isn't it? But I think we'd hold our own. I think we'd hold our own. I think holding our own is just about not being dragged in the relegation battle, but it all depends on who you bring in. I think there's a couple of players that would move on. I'm not going to name names at this point in time. I think there's a couple of players that would probably move on, and it's about getting those 3 or 4 or 5 signings that you have come in being absolutely spot on. I think that that would be enough. I think for us to cope in the Championship next season, but you just don't know. It's so up and down, and it's question marks over whether or not Ethan Pye stays. It's question marks about whether or not Lewis Bates stays. It's about question marks about if the players we've got at the moment can have a strong pre-season. I mean, if Benoni Brecky Anderson can have a strong pre-season, start the season with us, he could be absolutely lethal in the Championship. We just don't know how things will pan out, but I'd like to think that we just about hold our own. Having said that, history in the last couple of years tells us if we go up, we don't just go there to be, we're not just there to be a number. We seem to go up and go, right, we're not just here to as I say, to be a number. We're here to be competitive. Now, in no way am I saying that we'd go up and compete in the playoffs and Championship. I'm not saying that. Although Ipswich recent years have done that. I think we'd hold our own, and I think anything. I think some fans said this season, if we go up to League One, let's just consolidate mid-table. I'd say that. That's probably how I would look at the Championship. If we can just avoid relegation and try and be comfortable, I'd be really pleased with that. Stuart said, I suspect Dave Chalmers' smile was a photo from his youth, LOL. Probably. We have to be honest, if we go up, I think we'd come back down. Just a lack of backup players. Well, I think we'd sign a lot of players, wouldn't we? It's a different level. It is a different level, but we'd adapt to that level. We've adapted from the level of National League North to National League within, 2 or 3 years? 3 years. COVID year as well kind of ruins that, so it probably would have been quicker, maybe, who knows. We adapted from that level very quickly. Then, 3 years ago, we won the National League. You know what I mean? And we're now talking about potentially being the Championship. That's how quickly we've managed to catch up to each level. And every year we've gone, it's a different level. It's a different level this league. And we've managed it. So you just don't know. Stuart said, agreed, County fan. I said pre-season, we don't want to go up this season. Not enough infrastructure squad-wise. And County fan said, if Pye starts at County next season, I'll be amazed. I've been consistent in saying this over the last couple of weeks. I think if we go up to the Championship, Ethan Pye stays, no doubt about it. if we don't go up, I think that's where trouble starts to knock on our door. That's when players start to go, you know what, I love it here, but I need to think about my career, and I think that's where we could see a little bit of a problem. Look at Fleetwood, zoomed up out of semi-pro football, and now doing nothing but sinking. But the thing is with that, and I respect your opinion, but there's so many examples where it's gone wrong, but there's also examples of where it's gone well. You know, if you look at Bournemouth and they've got a similar sized stadium, I don't think they've been in the top division before, certainly not in Premier League history, and they've only spent 1 or 2 seasons out of the Premier League since they got promoted in 2015. They were on the verge of being in an FA Cup semi-final at the weekend, so Bournemouth are a great example of a club to look at. Then you've got Ipswich, who, okay, they're a huge club in terms of the won a UEFA Cup, I think it was in 1980, but they've been in the lower leagues. They've been in League One for a long time. They went up straight up to Championship, first season in Championship, up to the Premier League. Yes, they'll come down to Championship now, but there'll be a stronger team, hopefully, in theory, there'll be a stronger team in the Championship this time than they were the year that they went up, because they've got that Premier League money, and look, that doesn't always work. Look at Luton. The thing is, it's all about how stable you run. And I think that there's loads of clubs that can come up and they go down horribly. But there'll be examples as well where it's gone well. And I think County will look at those examples. We've got good people in the building as well. And I'm sure we'll deal with whatever hits us in the correct way. I'd like to think. Simon Harrison said, I'm sure Wilson will have a squad in mind if we go up. I've said it before. I think we've got a plan if we go up. I think we've got a plan if we stay in League One. Stuart saying Luton Town now in decline. Burton too. Yeah. There's loads of examples where it's gone wrong. County Fan 69 said for us to go up, we would have to spend a lot of money. Like Wrexham, they will have to spend big if they do go up. I mean, that's the question, isn't it? We've not spent. I mean, it doesn't feel like we've spent loads of money in terms of transfer fees to get to this point. Certainly not as much as some teams might have done. So this would be the real step up financially in terms of if you're going to go and buy Championship standard players, are you buying them on a transfer fee, or are you going to hope that you can find someone on a free agent deal, let's say? I think we're probably going to look down the free agent line as much as we can. So we maybe are looking at sort of older players, but then you look at Lewis Bate. That's a Championship standard player at the age of 2021, and we picked him up on a free transfer last summer. So there are bargains to be had there, and even at this level, like going up to Championship, I'm sure that we'll have ideas of who to target, and I'm sure that we can pick up some good players. And you know what, as well, let's say we do go straight back down if we go up. Is that the worst thing in the world? It's about how you prepare for it. So Carlisle, I don't know loads about their football club, but they obviously got us in the playoffs a couple of years ago. They went up, we stayed down. But were they prepared to have a season like what they had? I don't know what the direction and what the expectation that football club was going into that season, but were they expected to go up? Were they expected to be in the playoffs? Or did it kind of happen as a sort of happy accident? And that's what I'm saying, because if you go up and you don't prepare to go up, you will be caught in like a rabbit in the headlights. And that can be why a team falls so much. But if you really plan, right, this is where we want to be, and Mark Stott said we want to be in the Championship by 2027. So everything we've done, building the infrastructure, everything, has been geared towards getting to this level by 2027. Now, we might get there 2 years early, possibly. But I don't know. I think we'll be okay. I'd like to think that. And I want us to go up just to test ourselves. We'll never know if we don't try. I've read that comment out. It's one like Bate. We don't have another Bate in the team or on the fringe. No, but players will come and go, won't they? And I'm sure we'll find players. Stuart said we can't compete with Wrexham financially. That said, we have invested poorly in our backup players. And County Fan 69 said if we got an investor brought in by Mark Stott, yes, that would be ideal. I mean, I think I've said this a couple of times as well. Like, the problem with that is you bring in an investor, and maybe then at the moment it's a very clear direction of how the club's run, and they're all seem to be aligned. If you bring in an investor who's putting serious money, sort of into the project, they might have a different idea and a different direction, and that's where you can get fallings out. That's when you can maybe have a lack of direction because you can't seem to agree on one. maybe that's when the progress stagnates. So really, you don't want an investor unless it's someone that you manage to have a really good relationship with, and that's a lot to ask for in business and especially in football. So if we went down the investment route, we've got to hope it works out, but that can be where issues can occur. Just want to go back to this one, which Stuart said, we can't compete with Wrexham financially. We've not needed to, though. We've not competed with Wrexham financially to this point, and we've still managed to. They've not been in a higher division than us at any point. If anything, we've always been ahead of them. So even though we've not been able to compete with them financially in the same way, we've not had to. We've managed to find another way. We've done it our way. We've not gone and signed 35-year-old ex-Premier League players. We've gone and built something, and that's why now with some players like Lewis Bate or Ethan Pye, they could go on for huge transfer fees because we've actually built something a little bit more sustainable. Now, yeah, we have dipped in the market occasionally. You've got maybe someone like an Ollie Norwood, which is a proven experienced player, but that's not as often as like a Wrexham, let's say. I think we are building something which is probably a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more long lasting. And I think, if we go up, then I think we'll give it a good go. County Fan 69 said, nah, Stott knows what he's doing. I think he does, and hopefully that turns out to be the case. And Nick 10 says, was tonight's case of diamonds shining for County? Was tonight a case of diamonds shining for County? I think it was a case of him showing his quality. I think some of the players we brought in well, not just in the summer, but throughout the whole season, some of the players we brought in, we've been questioned about why have we brought these players in almost. All the players we've signed will have quality, whether that be a Fiorini, a Fevrier, a Diamond, a Mingy, whoever. They've all got quality. That's why we will have signed them in the first place. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Obviously, with someone like Fiorini at the moment, we're hoping he can go away and find his feet somewhere and maybe sell him on, or hopefully he can come back into the fold and sort of put in the performances that we saw when we were looking to bring him in. But with Diamond tonight, I think it was just a case of him getting an opportunity from the get-go, starting a match which doesn't happen very often, against the side where there was space to attack, and I think that suited him down to the ground. And a couple of good runs, that'll get your confidence up as a winger. When you feel like you're getting the running of your opponent, that's when you start to think, okay, I feel like I could have a good game here. I'm getting in good positions. Then you start to find the ball. He had 2 or 3 chances. I think one of them was blocked by a defender as well, just before he scored. So he was getting moments which would have been giving him more and more confidence. And I think he was just running off that, and I think it was a case of him shining for County tonight. As I say, hopefully it's here to stay. But yeah, we'll have to see. Stuart said, pardon me. Stuart said, I based that comment on the money needed to stay up in the Championship. Yeah, I do agree. And to be fair, the money and the finances in the Championship, it's the biggest step up we'll have seen to this point under Mark Stott. There's no doubt about that. So I do understand the concerns for it. I guess I'm just coming to this trying to be a little bit optimistic. Like, yeah, we want to be in the Championship. Why would we not want to challenge ourselves in that position? But I can understand why people might be cautious, especially after what's happened in the past. County Fan 69 said, if you get Jack Diamond back like how he first started at Sunderland, you have a very good player, and I think that's what we're sort of hoping. Well, I think we were hoping to find that when we first brought him in. Diamond is starting to settle down and more attack-minded. It's much better when he plays as a left winger as opposed to a left wing back in a back five. How's Lewis Bate one man the match then? Says JBT. I'm not aware he has done. Has he won one man the match officially? I'll have to check that. If he has done, then there's definitely something going on there where he knows the judges or something, because he did play well, but I think Diamond and Fevrier were definitely just levels ahead tonight. Stuart's saying, I remember the last time we were up, things are more expensive now. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about that. He was brilliant, but Diamond for me all day. Interesting. A lot of people saying Fevrier, but Diamond I can understand why as well. I thought Connolly did a decent job of fitting in Ethan Pye's position on the left-hand side as defence. Hill's also slotted in well. on the right hand side. I'd loved it if County managed to sign him. Yeah, we spoke about that. Connolly filling in on the left hand side, but not really tested. Stevenage didn't have a shot on target in the whole 90 minutes. And Hills, I think, was responsible for that long ball into the feet of Tanto in the build up to the second goal. Hills come in and done superbly, and we've spoke about him and how unfortunate it is that we won't be able to sign him on a permanent basis. Yeah, so Bate did win man the match somehow. I agree, Fevs or Diamond. Thought Tanto did a lot of good things tonight as well. I do agree with that, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. His performance has sort of gone under the radar because he didn't score. And obviously Fevrier and Diamond have come in and done that, and hats off to him. I'll read this comment out. Wotton has to score, then chances for me. Two clear misses. Again, love what else he offers, but he has to put them away. I've been very critical of Wotton at times this season, and that's why I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to be balanced, because I don't want to be too heavily critical on one player, but I have been critical of him this season and his scoring record, especially. And he did well with it, but to sort of get in the position for the second one. If I'm giving him credit, if I'm being nice to him, he got the goal there. Unfortunately, it's gone down as an own goal. But yeah, it is two clear misses, particularly the header one for me. I think I'd expect anyone to put that away. I'd expect myself to put that one away. To be fair, Elandis has said back our management to overachieve and punch above our weight if we get promoted. Not expecting this year though. We will we'll make do with winning the league next year. I mean, I like the optimism, but I think I said this in the when I went live pre-match as well. There's no saying that we'll get there next year. That's the thing for me. There's no guarantee that next year will be any easier than this year. So and also as well. So we go up next year. Will we be ready next year? Or the year after? What can we do this summer that will make us more prepared to go up next season? That's the thing. I'm not sure. So, I mean, financially, the club's not going to change that much in a year. I don't think it would be financially more stable to go up to Championship next season. So I think if we're in this position, look at where we've been. We've got to take going up. If it happens, and I do think we'll give it our best shot. And I do back the management, despite me being critical of them over the summer with some of the recruitment. Woot's passing game has got a lot better. It has done. I think it's had to. League is awful this year. We're overachieving, but a lot of favourites have been poor. Yeah, I mean, Huddersfield have dropped off, haven't they? Lincoln, I thought would have done more this season. They haven't. Peterborough, I would have had down as someone to be in the playoffs. They've completely fallen off this season. So, yeah, I think that's the thing though. Someone asked me earlier about where do I think we'd finish if we went up, and it's so hard to predict because there's so many teams that you'd expect to do well that can drop off, and then there's teams that you would expect to be nowhere near it, and they end up being a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect Wickham to do as well as they've done this season. Now, obviously, I think they've got a wealthy ownership. I haven't known that going into it, but yeah, things can surprise you. A lot of people said when I did my league predictions at the beginning of the season, I think I put Rotherham in 17th. I got a lot of stick for that. I don't think they're that far away from 17th at this point in time, and people tell me at the time worst take ever. So, it's so hard to predict stuff. Enjoy it as it's a massive bonus to be in the playoffs this season. It is, and as I say, there's no guarantees we'll be there next season. Reminder of the county fans that it's Louis Spalding's funeral. I hope I've said that correctly, by the way. The funeral tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. at Stockport County. Cypress Chapel, dress code, county shirts and scarves. So if you knew him, do get yourself down for that one at 1:30. As Nick Tenner's put in the in the chat, a reminder there. So yeah, for people who have who sort of knew him, get yourself down. Alandis has said we'd end up changing half the team if we went up. Like previous promotions, would be all about the summer recruitment, just enjoying the ride. But look, what happens. We've made big changes. We made big changes in the summer, so I think there could be big changes even if we don't go up this season. Like I say, Ethan Pye could move on, Lewis Bate could move on. So we just don't know what's going to happen. I think there could be big changes either way. But anyway, we've been going for almost an hour now, which is amazing. Like I say, fantastic result today. Big game on Saturday. Every game's cup final now. With the match preview will be out on this channel at some point at the end of the week. Probably Thursday is always the aim. So big thanks to everyone who's got involved in this chat post-match. Like I say, if you haven't liked the video, do make sure to like it. If you are new, do subscribe as well. And like I say, we'll be back on this channel with the preview on probably Thursday. No vlog this week, but we'll be back with the vlog against Rotherham next Saturday. Stuart's saying I went to Danny Bagara's funeral in 2007. Lots of ex-players and big names there. Yeah, legend of football club. I'm sure that was an interesting one. Good night and God bless. Yeah, thanks to everyone. And like I say, back on the channel with the preview at the end of the week for Exeter. No vlog, but we're back with the vlogs against Rotherham. Back at Edgeley Park on Saturday the 12th, off the top of my head, I think it is. So big thanks to everyone. Hope you all have a good evening. I don't know why I'm saying it's 20 to 11. What's everyone going to be doing after this? Sleeping, I imagine. But anyway, thanks to everyone who's tuned in. And like I say, we'll be back on the channel at the end of the week. So fantastic result, fantastic 3 points. And we move on. Every game's a cup final now. And hopefully County can get their way into the playoffs. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But as I say, big thanks to everyone. Like I say, cup final, another cup final against Exeter. Preview will be out at the end of the week. So big thanks to everyone that's tuned in. And yeah, I've enjoyed it. So yeah, I'll see you next time.